Hi guys, how are y'all? I'm sitting here getting ready. Yes, of course. I literally just walked. Okay, treats. I literally just walked into the other room to say, "Hey, mom, I'm getting ready to go live and all that." And I come back in, and Pia, who has been this nice, quiet little angel all day, decides to start barking. I'm barking nonstop. And then I get ready to hit the live button, and I realize that I have not even brought myself up on screen yet. Yeah, we're having fun today, aren't we? So, how are you guys doing? Hopefully, you guys are doing a little. I'm like, oh my gosh, I give up. But the good news is this: I did get me a dog behind my back right now. That's what I got, is a dog behind my back. But I got me my iced tea, so I'm all set. In fact, I got more than one. I got a couple, so I have them in the fridge. I love these. Those of you guys are in the hot, hey, Pia. Those of you who are on the mainland, really hot right now, the worst, time of the year for heat. If you like Starbucks green tea. They're green tea I do this with. I don't put any normal sweetener in it, just 2 pumps of the peppermint. If you like sweetened tea, then yeah, sweeten it all you want. But oh my gosh, the peppermint, their green tea kind of has a minty kind of taste to begin with. And once you add the peppermint to it, oh my God, it's so good. It is like my biggest addiction in life is Starbucks green. Well, no, that's not true. Yeah, it is actually, probably. And so who do we have in chat beside too many dogs running around me wanting my attention? So we do have a poll going on. I knew this poll probably had a good chance to be at 100%, and we're at 100%. The question was, okay, have you ever had to break up out of a friendship? Because it is hard. It's something that's very hard, and all of us have had to think about it before. But it's a little harder to do and a little harder to understand when. And then the question of the day was, what made you realize you needed to say, okay, this is it. I can't continue on with this relationship, this friendship anymore. So we did have a couple people, of course, I popped in saying, for me, the friend was only concerned about themselves. And actually where it changed for me was before, it was a long-term friendship. And before, that was fine with me. It was truly fine with me that all they cared about was themselves, because I was freaking codependent as hell. So it kind of worked in the whole setup. But as I started dealing with my codependency issues and stuff like that, I was like, oh, hell no, that is not right. That is not what a friendship is about. And that at that point, I decided, I got to do something about this. That was a harder thing. It was easier to recognize than to actually do for me, which I'd be interested in how many of you guys have that same issue, because it's much harder for me to break up a relationship, a friendship, than to actually think I need to do it. So next we had MX Big, who popped in. It's when the relationship seems lopsided. You put in the hard yards while they flit in and out, fluffing up their egos, oblivious to you. It's as though they suddenly decide you're their servant. Oh, hell yes. Bingo. And yeah, it's total narcissistic behavior. And that's the thing. For some people, okay, friendships are the place that they get all the wonderful information about how to be a narcissist out there, okay? I got someone who can work with me on all this stuff. Hey, I'm seeing other people popping in, and I've definitely got to say hi to everyone else, don't I? So yeah, MX Big, you hit it right on the head. Same as me. You got to reset and we're going to talk about that. Resetting relationships rather than stopping them, because sometimes we think it's all or nothing. And guys, life is not black and white. There's areas of gray here. And sometimes what you need is a break. Sometimes it needs a resetting, setting new boundaries, things like that. Hey, AJ, how are you doing? You guys are going to really love what AJ puts together for Halloween. I'm really excited what I'm starting to see about it. Maybe he'll talk to us a little bit during Cantina about it later. So, and there's B. Oh, Savage. Can't forget Savage. I just jumped right over Savage, and how dare I even try that? Hello, Miss Savage. How you doing? And yes, make sure you guys hit that. Let's see if we keep it at 100%. And Tim, how you doing, Tim? I enjoyed getting to listen to you over on panels yesterday. I usually don't get to watch all the different panels going on, so that was fun to listen to you guys all talking. And there is our dear sleuth mom. Hi, everyone. And KK, hope you're feeling good, my dear. I hope you're feeling good. So I can't wait. I get into this thing where during this time I want to get into Cantina type discussion. I'm like, no. You can wait 2 hours for Cantina. And yes, we will be doing Cantina today. Elizabeth Rankin. Hello, Miss Elizabeth. How are you doing, my dear? Our peeps. And Fruit Loop. Yes, Cassie. Fruit Loop. It was toxic and one-sided. There you go. Another, and you know what? That's something I'm starting to notice with a lot of people is just how many times we leave our friendships because we recognize the toxicity in them and how they truly do become one-sided. A lot of us, that's what tends to push us in those areas. Hey, James. Hey. I'm not sure if you're still here, but if you are, hey there. Guys, James has an awesome little channel for all of us to go to and kind of meet other creators, okay, join other communities. I went over there and then just checking out different people who were coming into the chat. Found quite a few people that I actually am watching regularly now because their subject materials right up my pathway here, okay? Even stuff I don't talk about here like hauntings and stuff like that. There were quite a few great ones there. So guys, check out his channel for sure. Let's see. In the bushes. Hey. Yeah. Okay, Jet's mom's here. It's painful to lose. That's the hardest part. And it is painful. And for many of us, just the thought of losing friends starts playing with our own emotions and the fears of losing our own friends. What if a friend decides that they no longer need us in their life? And that's another sign of a lot of things that gets really rough to deal with. And Sherry, our dear Sherry. And PJ, hello, Miss PJ. My kindness is always taken. Okay, there's another one. KK. My kindness is always taken advantage. Yep, I feel you, girl. I put everyone else first until the past few weeks. I've started putting you. Yes, and that's when things start really starting to change in your life, when you start making those decisions, and it doesn't come. You can go forward, backwards, you can go all over the place, but you start putting yourself first and you start loving and caring about yourself, which is what we should be. How can we take, it's like I tell people in long-term care or hospice care and all, if you're a caregiver and you're not taking care of yourself as caregiver first, how are you ever going to be able to care for the person you're a caregiver for? You've got to take care of yourself first. And that's the same in all life. Good one there, KK. Let's see. Who do we have? Crystalla, our dear Crystalla girl. Okay, let's see. Is that everyone? Battissimo, Angie Marie. Hello, my dear. See, I talk so much, I get tons of people. Hey, hello. Hopefully you're going to be coming later on to Cantina panel. Okay, a lot of you guys, I'll let everyone introduce themselves with their real names later. We're all changing names lately. So, okay, I think that is almost MX Big is here again. Hello, Red Rock, and dogs who want to be known. Totally. So, okay, let me pull up my banners and let's go to, would you guys stop? Okay, here, you can come into my arms. How's that? Okay, so first thing, say hi, everyone. Hey, Cassie, say hi. No, Cassie is totally cut now. So, okay, KK, I just ended things with the guy I was talking. I remember him because he couldn't handle you putting your, and that's it. If they cannot handle you putting yourself first, they're not worth being friends with. Okay, because true friends understand those priorities. Okay, true friends realize that a person who loves themselves and takes care of themselves first is probably going to be one of the best friends they've ever known, because they understand priorities and they understand when a person needs them versus when a person doesn't, if that makes any sense. So, okay. So first of all, before we move any further, would you guys stop it? Oh my gosh, they're trained. Okay, first thing I did want to bring up, you guys know today's discussion hopefully is not going to be majorly triggering. Hey, Boots Mama. But like anything, when we're talking about our emotions, there's a chance. There's always a chance something becomes triggering. Okay, you know, we're talking about things such as codependency, such as, okay, losing a friend that you may have been. Awesome. Okay, Boots Mom, I'll take a look for sure. In between lives, I'll double check that. A lot of times when we're talking about these things, we are talking about things that trigger thoughts. Losing a good friend. We've all lost that friend that meant the world to us, and we've had the tears afterwards, right? Okay. Yes, Christola, this is generalized discussion. I know a lot of us, the first thing we think about is, oh my gosh, especially on YouTube. How can anyone on YouTube actually talk about something that's generalized? It's got to be aimed at someone, yeah? No, this is aimed at all of us. It's something all of us can use at any point of our life. And so, yeah, no one go taking anything here, because that's not how if I'm going to say something directly, I'll say it directly, usually to you privately. And also, there's a lot of them when you do lose a friend, you're with friends. Some of us have had a friend that we may have to separate from and distance ourselves from, that we may have been friends for 5, 10, 15 years, our whole life. Okay. Angie, I've had to cut off lots of friends over the past 7 years. Only 3 survived the cut. Exactly. And there's, Louisiana girl. Hey, my dear. And so there's a lot of different things. But before we go further, just as a reminder, everyone knows our suicide and crisis lifeline. I don't suspect this is something that anyone's going to need during this discussion, but you guys all know, I think all of us should know this number as well as we know 911 in my eyes. Okay, so just as a reminder for that. So, moving on, friendships throughout life. Okay, first thing I think for all of us to recognize, especially when we start looking at friendships and where we're going to go with the friendships, and do we cut them off? Do we put time into, because you have to put time into friendships too. You can't just expect them to live on their own. They need work. And so you have to look at how the idea of friendships change as we're getting older. Okay. When we're children versus where we are now, and each of us here in this chat is of a different age, yeah? We've got some 20-year-olds in here. We've got 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 51-year-olds. Okay, we've got all of that. Okay. When we're younger, friendship often is much more superficial. Think about when you're 5, 6, 7 years old. It's a more superficial thing. It's about playing. Okay, you're wanting to have some things in common. For example, you're probably not going to have a kid who loves to play kickball best friends with someone who wants to sit off, okay, in the corner and talk story. Okay, not that it can't happen, but you're really looking for people out on the playground or in class that have something in common with you, things that you can share. And also, childhood, that's often what that is. Okay. I don't know about you guys. I remember when I was a kid, it never seemed to fail. My friends tended to be the ones that the teacher assigned to sit near me in class. Did that happen to anyone else, or is that just me being weird? It never seemed to, because you guys know, I was an Army brat. I moved all the time. And in moving, I had to make new friends every 2 years. I was at a new school. I had to make new friends. So what did I find? Well, I definitely found. Okay, I'd be sat in a certain place, and of the people around me, usually my best friend ended up being one of those people around me. because they were people that I was nearby. They were the people I was forced to talk with. And we just became friends from there. Your friend is your next door neighbor or someone who lives in your neighborhood. That type of thought. And, oh, Crystal, trust me. No, I was quiet in school. I was really quiet in school, to be honest. And as we get older, we get into our teenage years and things start changing. We're starting to understand who we are. We're not just the kids who play during recess or anything. We have certain things that we like doing, certain types of music we like, certain bands we like, or teenage heartthrobs or whatever it is that we like. Okay. And through that, our needs start changing. It's not just looking for the person nearest us. We're looking for the person who can kind of start, they understand where we're coming from when we talk about certain issues we're dealing with. You're starting to get into the clique type system. Okay, if you're going by the Breakfast Club, you got your stoners, you got your athletes, you got your nerds, we all remember our Breakfast Club groups. That's what tends to happen as we get into that age. Okay, our friendships are truly kind of decided on based off of that clique system. And doesn't mean you can't have a friend that, one friend here and one friend here, but it's much harder to pull off. Okay, things move on. We get into high school. Thanks, MX Big. And once we get into college, college, adulthood, our friendships, the one thing that I can say about friendships as we get older, they become deeper. Okay, and that starts in those high school years. You start learning how to talk about your deepest feelings with a friend. Tell them your biggest fears. Okay, the things that are triggering you, the things that make you worry about things. So our life changes as what becomes important to us changes. So does kickball is not the big passion that it was when I was in second grade, for example. Okay, now my passions change. And who I talk to, I want people, for example, in my case, I want people that can understand where I'm coming from, that are very, very open and honest, and also able to be open and honest back. They can accept and give. Okay, some people don't want that honesty person. Okay, and they're going to go towards someone who's not going to open up all of that whole box of feelings when you share honesty. Okay, so you've got all sorts of different things that pop up. Well, add in on top of that, the whole side of as we get older and we start dealing with various issues. Okay, whether it's trauma-based issues. Cassie, okay, you're going on the floor. Okay, you start dealing with trauma-based issues perhaps, or divorce, or things like that, and you start having new things you're wanting to talk to people about. Maybe something like trauma, okay, or divorce, or any of those things, loss, things like that, affect you when you're younger. And as you get older now, and you're into your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, you're dealing with those. And then you've got the things that couple of you guys are talking about here in chat right now, that you get to a point in a certain age where you're like, you start saying, fuck that person that I was. I'm now going to start taking care of myself and seeing myself as someone worthwhile. And I'm going to work on issues that are holding me back. Maybe I was codependent, and I'm now going to recognize that in me. And that's going to change who you are. It does change who you are. Okay. At the base level, yes, you're still you, but there's new things about you. And maybe that person, okay, the person I was in my 20s is not who I am now. Not by any means. I'm still friends with quite a few people from then. I hang out with my best friend I've known since I was, oh my God, I was a senior in high school and he was in 8th grade. Okay, and we've seen each other change over the years and all, and we've changed with it. And but I've had other people that were best friends in high school that we barely talk anymore because I didn't get married and have kids. She did. Okay. And so we don't talk nearly as much. She's got kids. I don't have kids. My life went in a different direction from her. Doesn't mean I don't love her still. I still love her tremendously. And every time I get to talk with her, I love it. But it's not the same type of relationship as it was before, if that makes sense. So things do change. We change. Our needs change. And as that happens, our friendships are going to change. Okay, what we will accept, the boundaries in our friendships, all those things are going to change. So the question then comes, if friendships are so cool and we love them so much, but then we change and we're not happy in the friendship because we've all, okay, heck, 100% on the poll right now still. Okay, all of us have left a friendship at one point or another. Why do we still stay in friendships after the point when we should have left? Because I don't know about you. There are so many times I have stayed with a friendship, trying and pushing and hoping and praying that it would change, knowing it was never going to change. So why do we stay in these friendships? Okay. Sorry, I'm checking out chat and everything here, there. Yeah. So why do we change? Okay. Well, we've all heard this saying, friendships are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Most of us, put a 1 in chat if you've heard that comment. I've heard that one quite a few times, more so in the last 2 years, maybe, since I've been on YouTube. But I've started hearing that a lot more, and it truly made sense for me. Because if you do look at the friendships that you have in life, okay, they're for a reason. Okay, well, you were in a class together and you sat next to each other. You were, okay, lab partners and became friends out of that. Okay, a season, okay, you were friends. One of the greatest groups of friends I recognize a lot of times is in theater. We develop very, very close bonds when we're in the middle of a show. I mean, very close bonds. We are sharing things that usually only your best friends usually know. It's that close of a friendship. That's your friendship of a season. You're with that person and that group of people, and you are like family. And then you move on to a new show and you start the whole thing over again. And yeah, you still kind of connect with the people from the old shows, but you're not with each other every single day for 6 weeks or something like that. So things change. You're there for a season. And then you've got the lifetime. That group of friends, which is usually very small. They're the ones that are your tried and trues. When I was researching for this, I came across a video, and the person was actually talking about an Instagram post that they saw that said the biggest miracle, okay, in the Bible was that Jesus had 13 friends at the age of 30, 13 best friends at the age of 30. And at first I was like, okay, I'll take that. Okay. But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that close a friend. And that is a close friend. The disciples and Jesus, that was a friendship that really, they were family. Okay, that was that tried and true friendship. And we don't have many of those. Okay, I can probably count those people on one hand that are truly my lifetime, forever and ever and ever. And you know what? I don't even know. They may not be there forever. I may think they are. And that's where we start running into the problems, because we think they're there forever. And then all of a sudden, bang, they're not. MX, not everyone has the same degree of respect for friendships. That's a good point. And that's where you start running into a lot of the things, because as we go through this list, everyone's idea of what a friend is slightly different. Okay. I have many close friends. I have a small group of people that are like true sister, brother, okay, that are my everything. Okay. That are the people that I know will be there always forever. Okay. Then yes, then you have the thing Crystola's talking about, fake friends. We all know about those people. The ones that use, abuse, brown nose, all sorts of things just to get into the right thing. Friendship is confusing. Friendship is really freaking confusing. So a lot of times we will stay in a friendship, okay, because we've been close and we don't want to give up. Okay, I hate failure. Oh my God, I hate failure. Okay, I am a perfectionist. I will try to aim for certain things. And if I can't, I see it as something I've done wrong. So if I give up on a friendship, that means I just haven't tried hard enough. Since when is it all something that is supposed... We get into this and we get stuck in this area that, gosh, I got to stay friends and I got to stay at the same level of friendship. And our friendships ebb and flow. That's what it's about. Or maybe we were friends that went through something together. Okay, maybe there was a major trauma you went through. Okay, back in school days, maybe, okay, there was something that happened at your school. Okay, and you guys all helped each other through that. Maybe you went through a friend went through a divorce in their family at the same time as your family went through a divorce. And you went through something very, very hard to go through together, and you helped each other through. And you get this feeling now that if I give up on this friendship, I am not being the friend that that person needs. But we keep forgetting that things change. And we feel obligated in the end that we have to stay in these friendships, that we can't let the friendship change or anything on that level. And many times that's what it comes down to. Sorry, dogs hear noise. And that's what it comes down to is people get into this thing where they feel obligated to stay in the friendship. They feel like they're going to fail that friend if they leave the friendship, if the friendship changes the depth that it has. So you can forgive to a point, but if it continues, you have to distance yourself. Exactly, MX, exactly. And that's where a lot of this comes. You really do have to. The hard part in all of this, though, comes down to when do you make that decision? When do you know that that friendship is beyond that point? When do you come to recognize when a friendship is holding you back and your growth? Because if, for example, in my case where I was dealing with codependency, if I stayed really good friends with a friend that was abusing that codependency, okay, a narcissistic friend or whatever like that, okay, it was now holding me back. So when do you make that decision? How do you know when to move forward? And that's what I wanted to talk about here. Okay, is what are some of the signs? There you go, Kat. It landed right on her head. That was a good one. And some of the signs of a friendship when you recognize that friendship needs to change. So the first one is you start recognizing that the friendship is one-sided. Okay, how many of us have come into this point where all of a sudden, every time you connect with that friend, it seems like everything surrounds them. You'll talk about something about your life, and they will find a way to turn that whole conversation into their life. Okay, you are always giving, and they're always taking. They can't seem to give you your due in a conversation. Okay, they become the center of that conversation, of that whole relationship. Okay, you come home at the end of the day and you have had the worst day ever at work and you just happen to drop the comment, you don't even need to talk about it. You just want to just drop it and have someone say, oh God, I'm sorry about that, and recognize it so that you can then move on. And what they do is say, oh yeah, you should have seen my job today. Okay. My boss was yelling about this, and oh yeah. And and then they go on to another whole subject and didn't even ignite. And you're like, did you even hear me? Did you hear anything I just said? Now, guys, one of the things I did want to address when we go through this, and this is like so many other things are going to be different for different people. Some of these things we're going to talk about may not be important to some people. It depends where you are in your own life. Okay, there was a time where I had no problem with friendships that were one-sided because, again, of codependency. I had no problem because I felt like it was still about me because of that codependency. And so this one comment here would have just gone right over my head. But now I'm like, yeah, I can feel it right away. Now, you run into the other side of this. Okay, there are times that a friendship might be one-sided, and that's okay. There are times things are, because the whole thing to remember, friendship is about long-term mutual give and take. Okay, I've had friends who will tell me, gosh, you're always there for me, and I feel like I'm never there for you. And I'm like, oh no, you're there for me a lot and just don't realize it, number one. Or maybe I haven't given you the chance to be there for me yet. And I'm going to trust that you will be there for me when that day comes. Okay, especially in a brand new friendship or something like that. It is okay at times. We all have rough times in our lives, yeah? That we need the focus to be on us. That happens. Okay, what we're talking about is that long-term thing. Okay, does this person all the time have to have all the focus on them all the time? Or do they ever acknowledge at times that you're having a rough time and you need the support that can be there? Let me see, Angie. I had a friend I was already getting constantly frustrated with her adult tantrums. Then her boyfriend cheated on her for the millionth time, and she wanted me to drive on bad brakes in the rain to go comfort her. And you cut it. Yeah, bingo. Okay, right there, bad brakes. This is the long-term care administrator in me. Life safety. If you're going to risk your life to go take care of someone, then you know what? The balance is off here a little bit. The balance is off there a little bit. So the next thing is someone that you can trust. Probably the most important thing in any friendship is trust. Okay, the first thing you think about when you talk about friendship is being able to share your innermost secrets with them. If you find yourself getting to the place that you can't trust that friend, whether it's new behavior or behavior that's always been there and you're recognizing it now you're starting to find out, is this really the relationship for me? Okay. Do you feel safe? Okay, maybe you come to them and you tell them, something about yourself, an insecurity, something that you're very, very insecure about, letting them know the deepest, darkest thoughts that you have. Okay, maybe you tell them that you've gained 5 pounds or something, and you're really upset with what it's doing to your body, and you've had to go buy new clothes or stuff like that. And all of a sudden you tell them that, and the first thing you're like, oh shit, why did I tell them that? They're going to go tell so-and-so, and they'll tell so-and-so. And automatically, you should, when you tell your best friend this or a good friend this, you should know that they can keep that secret for you. That you have that trust. And then you have the other type of friend who not only will go and tell other people, but they use those insecurities against you. So maybe 3-4 weeks later, you and the person are out and about at a movie or something like that, and you make a comment about how your sweater that you're wearing is a little tight and all, and they're like, well, you know what? You should be taking care. You told me the other week that you're gaining weight, so you should be going and taking. No. Okay, they're using your insecurities against you at that point. A comment like that, yeah, you could talk to a friend about things that they see wrong about themselves as a way to help them. But when they're doing it as a way to hurt you, as to make a dig at you, that's when you're like, okay, is this the person you truly want to put the trust with? Do you truly want to put the energy that real friend, like I said, friendships take work. Do you want to put the work into that friendship? And she's like, I got one for this one too. I had a good friend that stole my whole month of ADHD meds so she can get high off them. She was crying for me to forgive her, but trust is gone. And yes, bingo. And yeah, you look at cases like that. You step back and you're like, okay, trust is gone. Yes, we want to help support each other. And only Angie in this case would be able to see where that friendship fits in with things. She'd be able to look at what about all these other things. Okay, was this a one-time situation, or is this type of behavior something you could see regularly? How are they going to work on things like that. So the next is a friend who dumps on you a lot. Okay. I understand we all have friends and all of us have ourselves vented before, right? If you think about it, part of the huge plus of having a really good friend is you have someone that you trust and you know will keep your trust, so you vent to them. There's a difference between venting and dumping. And this is where we run into a lot of the issues. A lot of us are just there to listen. We're empathic. We have the ability to listen to people and things like that. And it's something for some of us we don't mind doing. We enjoy doing it. It helps make us tighter as friends, right? But again, it's that give and take, number one. And number two, it's recognizing that difference between what is it when someone vents versus when they dump on you some. So first of all, this is how I kind of try to figure it out myself. Venting is more about just releasing frustration. Okay, you come home at the end of the day of work and, okay, you get home and the house is a mess. The kids have made a mess out of everything. There's no food, so now you're having to clean. Well, okay, and then you've got problems where you're doing laundry and the washer overflows, and you just go to your friend and you just spill all this stuff out. You're just trying to release it all. That's venting. Dumping is more about them making themselves the victim of everything. Okay. All of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I was at work today and yeah, my boss is all down my back about everything. Okay. He could pick on anyone else in the world, but he's always picking on me and he's telling me how I'm doing this shitty. And you know what? Honestly, he's the freaking shit because all he's doing is doing this to me. Okay. Oh yeah, that person said she was a friend of mine, but all she does is sit there and talk about everyone else behind their back. And she was attacking me the other day. It's all about attacking and becoming a victim. It has nothing to do with really releasing. The difference with a venter, a person who's venting, they may come to you and vent all this stuff out. And if you popped up and said, okay, oh, wow, well, maybe you can come up with a way to, did you go and check the in the washing machine that you didn't have tons of dust or something at there, or a sock clogging the drain or something. A venter would be like, that's probably something I should have done. Okay, or they would take the idea. A person who's dumping, they're not going to take anything you tell them. They're never going to take any suggestions you have, because it's all about them being the victim of everything. Okay, it's not just bad stuff happening. Okay, they are the victim. So if you went and told them, oh, you know what, next time go check and make sure that you don't have a sock or something blocking the drain. Okay, their response, oh, hell no. You don't realize, okay, no, it doesn't matter what I do. It's always going to do that no matter what, okay? Or they're going to get mad at you for even suggesting something. That's your dumper. Okay, the dumper is everyone, everything. They're always going to look at all the problems out there rather than looking at their part in the problem and how that they can change things and things on that level. So, yeah, right there. They're not going to do anything about it. They'll just continue. You'll give them advice. Okay, they're not going to listen to it. So, and we all know people like that in our lives. We all know people like that, especially if you're the type of person who does try to listen to people. Okay, you try to solve their problems, more or less, try to give them ideas so things don't happen again. And you get frustrated because you're like, I'm trying to help you here. If you would just do this, this might not be a problem in the future because you'd be recognizing this. They're not going to accept it. So you get more and more frustrated at it. And that friendship that you have starts to become a thing that is one-sided. So see, you can see where a lot of these things do start meshing together. So when you're starting to make that decision, do I stick with a relationship, a friendship, or do I move on or try different things? You're not going to look at just one of these things and be like, oh, there you go. Everything's about them. I'm going to stop being a friend with them. No, you're going to look at all of these things. You're going to look at different things. You're going to start pros and cons. Okay, my dad was a believer in a pros and cons list. Anytime I had a decision to make, okay, it would tell me, pull out a piece of paper and pro, con, reason for, reason why not. And every single time it would work out for me because I can see where the majority of things were and where my emotions truly were. So the next is these people don't support you. Okay. They're competing with you all the time. They're not really there. A friendship should be about support. Yeah. A friendship is truly there for the two of you to be there for each other. We acknowledged that earlier. And so when you see a friend that stops supporting you, or maybe they never did, or they're always trying to one-up you. Now, trust me, it's okay to have a competitive friendship. Those can be amazing. Some of my best friendships have been competitive friendships. Okay. That competition helps push you forward, trying to become the best person you can be. But the friendship is not about one-upping to push the other one down. It's about pushing each other to the next level. Okay. So someone in this grouping, okay, may be subtle on their one-upping. Okay. Maybe you are talking about a job that you had and your boss gives you an increase. Okay. Promotion. And what does your friend do when you tell them oh yeah, I got the promotion today and all that? They said, oh yeah. Oh, you know, my friend, Mary, she got a promotion. She's actually director of marketing now. Can you believe that? And you're like, okay, well, thank you. Okay. They're always trying to one up things. Friends should be there to help support and celebrate each other, even when it hurts. And it does hurt sometimes. It can hurt like hell sometimes when your friend, okay, has had something happen that you should be celebrating. And there's something, for example, okay, even me, okay, many of you guys know I tried to get pregnant for almost a good I don't even know how many years now. I was doing IUI after IUI. I was trying so hard. And it was hard for me because this was also at the age where many of my friends were getting pregnant. And all of a sudden I would have, hey, AJ. And yeah, I see you. Something weird's going on there, but I see you. All of a sudden, one of my friends would come up to me and say, oh, guess what? We're pregnant and all that. And you want to, even in that time that it hurts you, as a friend, you celebrate their success. Okay, even though it hurts. You may not focus on it forever, but your friend also understands the reason why you're not focusing on it forever. And but you're still there for it. You're not going to try to compete with them. You're not going to all of a sudden ignore something they're very excited about just because you want to one-up them. So let's see here. This next one's a different for different people. Some people don't mind this type of person. Some do. But here's where I would probably say to you guys, things like this can change. If you have a friend who has always been very reliable, okay, and they all of a sudden start not being as reliable and expecting you to accept it and stuff like that, and that's a problem for you, those become those things. Are they really interested in the relationship, the friendship? Maybe you have a friend who is always canceling on you. Okay, now, some of us have friends who are that way. Okay, they love to cancel last minute, and because they are going to cancel last minute, 90% of the time, I'll have multiple people coming. Okay, so that way when they cancel, we're still okay because we have other people there. Okay, exactly, Angie, it happens. Okay, those who have kids or stuff like that, those things happen. But there are some friends that just are not reliable. And that may be an issue for you. For some people, it's not an issue, but you'd let them know. Now, what I want to say though, when I read this comment here, I was like, well, you know what? I think if someone is that type of person who that's going to be a issue for, you need to talk. And that's where the communication side comes. You as friends need to be talking about. If you're one of those people that this is causing a problem, you need to be talking and letting them know. And next, they can't handle, this ties in with something I mentioned earlier. They cannot handle honesty. Okay. Part of being a friend is being able to be open and honest with your emotions, with your feelings. Okay. You should, in theory, be able to tell your, hey, Burden, hello, my dear. You should be able to go to them and tell them how you feel about their actions. If they do something that upsets you, as a friend, they should be okay with you coming to them and saying, okay, you know what? I realize you did this the other day. I need you to understand from my point of view, that's something that I have a hard time with. Okay, I understand you react any way you want, but I need to be open and honest with you about this. After all, that open and honest discussion between friends is one of the biggest rewards of true friendship. And so when you have someone who is not willing to do that, and again, honesty is important to you. Some people could care less. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Christola is asking me to ask AJ to go out and come back. She just went in to make sure that she didn't have you blocked by accident. And so yeah, it's having this whole thing of being able to, if you're okay with not being open and honest. And one thing I've learned from YouTube, Okay, there are some people out there who don't seem to like friends being open and honest with them about behaviors and things like that. That's fine then. If that's who they are, that's fine. But it's important for us as friends to understand what the expectations are. And if it's important for you to have a friend who's that way, then that may not be the best friendship for you at that point if that person's not willing to listen to it. And so, yep, Mom just left, I think. Did she? Yep, Mom just left. And she's got PT. She's still doing PT and doing awesome. She's really doing great. So, and the last one, I think this is the last one I wanted to address before we moved into this next small part, is you don't feel good about yourself when you're with them. So if you think about those friendships that you've left, okay, the friendships that you've been like, I just can't do this anymore. Think about how you felt when you were with them. Were you happy when you're with them? Were you second guessing yourself all the time? Things like that. What was your feeling? Because sometimes your gut knows what's going on. So as you get that gut feeling, okay, some of us, we look at it and it's like, what did they mean by that comment there? Okay, or, oh, I made that comment. There was really long pause there. Now, I need everyone to understand this because I think there's a lot of us here that fall into this next category. Be careful about projecting your insecurities on how you feel. It's very, very, very easy to start saying, oh yeah, that comment there, I bet you they took it this way. Or, oh, that pause or that look, when they looked at me with that look, I bet you they were thinking that this about me or whatever. You need to be open and honest with yourself. Don't ruin a friendship because of you projecting your own insecurities. Okay, it's really important for you to understand that part of it because that person may not be thinking these things. Okay, and you've got to understand that so you can address those issues about yourself. But we all know those friendships that we're with, and the whole time we're with them, we're like, we just don't feel right. Things don't feel right anymore. It used to feel, even relationships, marriages, you used to feel this way, and then all of a sudden now you don't feel good when you get home. Okay, it has you questioning everything, all sorts of stuff. And you know what? It may not be that the person's bad or anything. Honestly, they are not bad. It's just might not be the right friendship for you at that time. Because again, we're all growing. And what we need out of friendships also changes. That's why those for a lifetime friendships are so few and far between, because both sides have to understand where that person is, okay, and understand and the give and take of both of it. So you've gone through all these and you're like, okay, I've got a friendship with an issue. Okay, we've all been there. Okay, I've had them even over the last couple weeks. I've had issues like this. Okay, and you're like, okay, what do I do? How do I go about ending these friendships? So there's a couple ways, and I'm going to kind of skim through some of this stuff. We could do a longer live some point if people would like a longer live about all this. The first one is just let it fade out. And there's different ways. You're going to choose a different way depending on the friendship and the person. Many times a person will use the fading out option because you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. You care about them. Friends, no matter what, they have a special part in your life, in your heart. And no one really wants to hurt a friend. Hopefully you don't want to hurt a friend. Okay, so by fading out, the thought is you're not going to hurt their feelings because you're kind of just distancing yourself. Maybe you stop calling them or responding to posts that they do. Problem with this, sometimes it works wonders. People kind of get the clue. Okay, we talk about that. They got the clue. But sometimes the other person does not get the clue. And this will drag on and on and on. And the person still thinks you've got the same friendship you always have because no one's ever said anything to them about it. You've never addressed any of the issues. You've just stopped communicating as much. So that can often be a problem, which can be dealt with by having the talk. Okay. Having a talk can be done different ways. Usually the best thing to do if you have the opportunity is to do it in person. Okay. Call up your friend, let them know, hey, you know what? Let's go out for some coffee or let's go go whatever it is we want to do. You choose for yourself. Coffee's easy though, usually. And you meet up for coffee. Now, in the case of an internet type thing, phone call, emails, things like that. Crystal just said, yes, Loco or somebody, please tell AJ I see him and have never blocked him. Okay, we'll see, AJ. We'll see if we can solve this during Cantina for sure. This will be on the list to solve during Cantina, my dear. So during the talk, you have that place, you come together. When you sit down, if you don't live together or there's a safety concern, every now and then we have sorry, my camera, something is going on with my camera lately. There we go. Sometimes we have these relationships and friendships where something has changed and there's a fear for safety. Doesn't happen often, but once in a while something may happen and you're like, I can't see this person physically. It's not safe. In a case like that, go to the emails or the phone call or something like that. And as you go into it, have a goal set. Okay, what is your goal for that? Is it that you're going to clear up miscommunication? Maybe they heard, someone told them something that you said that you never said. Okay, maybe it is you telling them, you know what, I'd appreciate it if you don't tell people things that I've talked to you about. Maybe it's setting new boundaries. Maybe you are coming to that place where you're like, okay, you know what? I cannot have someone else be the center of everything. It's got to be a give and take. And you're setting boundaries based off of that. So you set that goal before you get there because the idea is you don't want to be fighting during this. Okay, so you get there, you talk about everything. Now, remember back to when we talked about confrontation, having these discussions, boundary discussions and all. You want to use I statements. Okay, you want to talk about how you feel, not about what they did wrong. Okay, so you're not going to be saying, well, you know, you sat there and told so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so that I gained 5 pounds and blah, 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 blah. And you're not going to want to do something on that level. Instead, it's going to be talking about, confidentiality is something that's very important to me. I really appreciate it when I'm talking with friends that they hold things confidential in privacy. Okay, keep that private because of the trust that I have for the people that I talk. I don't know about you guys. The moment I'm talking with someone and someone starts pointing their finger at me or making comments, negative connotation comments to me, my walls go up. No matter what, I am going to get pissed. I am going to get defensive. Okay, it gets hard to deal with anything on that level. So be very careful about those I statements. Now, the next thing people can do is they take a break. Maybe you've had this talk. Because like I said, some friendships may have possibility left in them. Maybe it's just that you need to set boundaries and you need to set expectations. So you have that meeting and you talk those things out. Okay. And maybe after that, you're like, something's still wrong. And something's still wrong. I can't keep this going this way. So you make the decision to take a break. Hey, missing in life. Be safe, my dear, and love you, my dear. And also, you can put that finger away and next big. Exactly. That finger gets me in more trouble Yeah, exactly. A couple of fingers get me in trouble, actually. And so taking a break is a great way when you just need to give distance. And you might find it actually saves the friendship. Okay. You go to them and you just tell them, I need some time. Okay, please let them know when you're done or you've decided to split. Okay, that's just me saying that. I'm not saying you have to, but that's something I would probably try to do. But giving time for people to calm down. Maybe during that get together, you think that your friend really understands what you meant, but they just got really pissed and you just need some calm down time. Or they said something that pissed you off, but everything's kind of good. And also you need that time. You give them time for calming down. By doing this, you might find yourself refreshed. A lot of couples actually do this. Okay, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. A lot of people will do this quite often where they actually will take time. Sorry, I'm going to give a dog a Cheeto because she's starting to get tempted by other stuff. Okay, so taking that time for you to be able to think things through, to find out what's important in life. Sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I have found this with some of my friends. We'll go on vacation together and we have the best vacation ever. Best vacation ever. And you're with each other 24/7 for 2 weeks, a week, whatever. And you get home. It's almost good to take a break at that time. Okay, because, and I've noticed my friends and I do this without realizing we're doing this. And we'll take a week, 2 weeks without connecting with each other because we have gotten to be around each other so much that we start catching the little things that drive each other crazy about each other. And by pulling it back, we come back into the relationship like it's new. And so it's another good reason for that, taking a break and seeing how that feels. The last way of dealing with it is just end it. And there are going to be times you have to do this. There honestly are going to be, MX Big holidaying with friends can definitely test friendships. If you could go on vacation with your friends, you've got an awesome relationship. And that's why travel buddies are so hard to find sometimes. So ending things immediately. Sometimes you have no choice. Maybe the friend does not understand boundaries and never will. Maybe they're at a place that they are never going to be able to understand what you're trying to do by backing out quietly or something. Whatever the reason is, you make the decision that it can't go on. And you decide to be upfront and tell them. Okay. Now, when you do that, tell them why. This is my personal thing, and we're going to talk about ghosting in a second, but don't do the type of thing that all of a sudden, sorry, I don't want to be friends anymore, and then you just disappear. A lot of people want to be the best person they can be. And if your friend can tell you, one of the reasons why I just can't continue this friendship is because of the tendency things are right now where you don't want to give, okay, every time I talk about myself, you talk, even if it feels harsh, okay, it gives them something they can look at themselves on and make a decision. Should I change this? Is this something I need to change? I know it's hard and some people will not agree. Some, Christola, agree. But I don't like it when people just disappear. Okay. Because people do want to get better. And if you're going to break off the friendship with them, it had to have meant something at some point. So does it mean enough for you to let them know what things could have been done differently so they don't have it happen again? Because a lot of times the reason why the friendship is breaking up is something that will probably break up other friendships of theirs. Now, it's up to them to accept it or not. They may not accept it, but at least tell them. And which does get into ghosting. Well, also, after you tell them that, wish them the best. Let them know I do care about you as a friend, okay, as that time that we had together, and I respect that time together, and I wish you the best. And you may find 3 years from now you're friends again. Okay, so that way that you said goodbye makes a difference. And ghosting now is a different thing. I think there are times that ghosting is done. I'm not a big fan of it. I, for example, I literally only have one person blocked. I had to think that one through just to make sure. I only have one person blocked on all my social media. Now, that doesn't work for everyone. I know that. Okay. But I'm of the type of belief that I'm always here, kind of like Imix just mentioned, okay, being there to talk. If someone wants to talk, I'm there to talk. I may not agree with you, but I'm there to talk. And I'm not the type of person who will go and make a comment and block without giving you the chance to come back with a comment. Okay, that's me. Everyone has their own way of believing. And I understand some people are like, block the bitch. Okay, and move on. I recognize that. That's not me. But on the other hand, I'm not saying there aren't options out there where that might become a thing. What if you are friends with someone who, MX, I am for those of you talking about speech to text, anyone who's ever gotten messages from me has seen how many times speech to text screws me up. But yeah, all the time. But let's say you are a friend with someone and that person misreads the signals and thinks it's more than a friendship. Okay, this is just one example I could come up with for a ghosting idea. And that person is not going to get the idea. You keep telling them, no, I'm not interested, okay? Okay, you keep saying these things and you keep giving them their heads up and they're not going to get it and all that. And then all of a sudden, they keep moving at it. Those are times I could honestly see the ghosting idea working. Because some people are going to not listen to anything you say. And that may be the only way that you can protect yourself from something that could actually get dangerous over time. And so there are always, that's why I'm saying now it's not this way or that way. There's shades of gray game. And so definitely with ghosting and all, you've got to look at each case. But the black and white thought that you always do it this way or always do it that way, part of what we're all doing right now is trying to become better people and understand where our behavior fails so that we can change it. So now, things to not do when ending a relationship, and I'm sorry, I know I'm going over an hour at this point, but I did want to address these other couple things here and the coping bit. Number one, please do not get hostile or angry. Okay, when you're ending a friendship, you are the one taking the step to end that friendship. You are the one with that decision. So for you to jump in angrily or hostilely, you're actually going to really make that thing fall apart quickly. Okay? Yes, you may be mad. Maybe something they did pushed you overboard and you're just like, oh, fuck no. Okay? But do all you can to not be angry because you're stopping a relationship. You can be angry all you want to behind the scenes. Okay? But with them, try not to. Also, try not to have other friends do it for you. I have seen this so many times with other friends of mine who will go tell another friend and they'll come over to me, oh my God, loco, so-and-so just stopped being friends with me. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? They're like, well, they asked so-and-so to tell me that they don't want to talk to me anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck? Don't have other friends stop a friendship with you for someone else. Okay, I mean, come on, guys. Stand up for if you feel strongly about stopping a friendship, pulling out of a friendship or something like that, have the ability to stand up and tell the person yourself. Okay, that's like breaking up with someone by telling a friend to tell your girlfriend or boyfriend you don't want to see them anymore. Okay, please don't. Yeah, this is not middle school. Exactly, Crystal. It is not middle school. And last, don't seek revenge. Either side, guys, please. Okay, it's so easy because our emotions get pulled into it and all that. People will start with starting rumors about that friend or why they're not friends anymore or stuff like that, posting things negative to Facebook or YouTube or things like that. Don't go seeking revenge. Just move on. Okay, move on, because once we start doing these three things, we go from a friendship being full force enemies and drama, because nothing comes out of any of that. That is not moving on from a friendship. Okay. That is turning a friendship 180 degrees, pretty much. So what do you do though, when you lose that friendship? Cassie, would you stop growling? I know you want another Cheeto. Cheeto. There you go. Okay. And they never get all this food except for during lives. So coping with a friendship, okay, when you lose that friendship, because it is hard. It is hard when you lose your friends, okay, and things like that. So remind yourself, people come and go in our lives. When a friend breaks up, rejoice. There you go, MX. Yes, rejoice. It's over. And whether it's your friend breaking up with you, okay, or moving on from you, or opposite direction, remind yourself, people come in our lives, okay, and they go. It's like I mentioned at one time, it's a bus stop. We're all on a bus in life, and people are popping on the bus at stops, and then they get off 3 or 4 stops later. Others stay on for 10 or 11 stops. Some barely make it through one, okay, but they do come and go. As we grow, our needs change. As our friends grow, our friends' needs change. It has nothing to say about failures. If someone stops being a friend with you, it does not necessarily mean it's your fault. It just means people have changed. And remember, you are going through a grieving process. Okay, we talked about grief a few weeks ago. Okay, and we talked mostly about death, but also things, divorce, losing friendships, all sorts of things. Okay, you are going through the grieving process, and like all grieving, you take a couple steps forward, couple steps back. Okay, you may be angry this day, and then all of a sudden the next day depressed, and then 2 weeks later you're angry again. Okay, this is grief. You are losing someone who meant something to you. Different levels. It is, MX Big, it is like a death of sorts. It truly is. And you need to give yourself credit for that, no matter which side of it you're on. One way you can do that is journal. Okay, you can do it through a journal, writing, okay, actual handwritten journal. You can download an app. You can do a vlog style. Please remember here on YouTube, many of us know each other also, so we don't want to get into the back and forth type things. But you know what? The emotions, okay, being able to vlog and stuff like that does help people. Okay, so be able to get your thoughts out. But I deal with journaling of any type is you get your thoughts out so they don't just stick in your brain and you start obsessing about them. Okay, as long as something's in your head, I swear, when people talk about other people living rent-free in people's brains, that is so much the truth. Because as long as people are in their head and stuff like that, you're just obsessing about all the thoughts. Why, when, what did I do? What could I have done? All these other things. Write it. Christola just had an even better idea. Write a letter to the person and then burn it. Okay, it's a great way to do it. Okay, just write a letter to them and then burn the letter. You don't have to upset the person by giving it to them, but whatever. I think it's, no, I love it, Crystal. I love that you guys are talking and chat about it. So, and the next one is reach out and lean on your other friends. Guys, it's okay to talk to your other friends when you're going through losing a friendship. Many of our friends share. And a lot of times we feel like, well, I can't say anything to this friend because they're also friends with so-and-so. You're not asking that friend to make a decision or take a side. Okay, now if you're doing that, that's a different issue. All you're doing is asking them to help support you, for them to help you go through this. Okay. Dr. Seuss has this quote, and I loved it when I came across it. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Okay. They won't mind. Your real good friends are not going to mind if you come to them and ask them for a shoulder to lean on. And you need to do that. You need to get the stuff out. And last, just be good to yourself. This is hard, no matter what, okay? If you're the one moving on from a friend, you start feeling guilty that you're hurting your friend, okay? So you deserve to be good to yourself, okay, and forgive yourself and stuff like that. Practice self-forgiveness because you are worried. Oh my gosh, what did I do? Did I upset them? Okay, whatever happens from it. Now, on the other side, if you're the person that's being moved on from, it hurts because you're like, oh my gosh, how am I failing my friends? What am I doing? Am I a failure? Am I just not good enough? You could start having all these other questions. So in the end, you've got to, no matter which side, just be good to yourself. Practice self-forgiveness. Practice treating yourself good. Remember, you're going through grieving. Okay, you're going through a hell of a lot. And so I'm popping up the takeaway. You guys know what time that is. And you guys can pop in your takeaways and chat real quickly while we're kind of pulling all this together. And Cristela has, then they go to the other person, say what was said and spins it or straight up lies. Oh yeah, lots of people who do that. You should never ask them to take, okay, I read the rest of it. Cristela said, you should never ask friends to take a side, and if they instantly start talking crap, then they go to the other person, they said, and they spin it. Yeah, you got it. You know what? Real friends know that even if you're arguing with a friend of theirs, and you're still their friend, and you care about them, and they, as a friend, they don't want you hurting. Too much to type. Nice try, Angie. No, that's okay. That's okay. And Emmett, don't blame yourself. Not everyone is meant to be friends. And that's so true. A lot of us, we grow up in the high school and junior high aiming to be in the in group. Yeah. We all want to be in the in group. We want to be in the in group. Okay. We want to be in the top clique or this clique or that clique or whatever. So we see friendship as that. And it's not. In the end, when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, and you're starting to really realize what real friendship is, it's not about status at all. It's about people who understand who you are, where you are in your life, what you need to become the best version of yourself, and are open and honest with each other so you both can grow and become closer friends. So, AJ, it's so funny how there's people out here saying we all come from the same energy, yet that energy can't come back together. So we obviously don't come from that. That's an interesting thought. Definitely there. Definitely. So gang, here we go. We've got 40 minutes till Cantina. I had to check the time, and I got a little Cassie sitting underneath. You want to come here, Cassie? Yeah, Cassie's like, pick me up, mommy, pick me up. So I am going to go take care of these little fuzzy wuzzies and get ready for Cantina. I'm going to post it everywhere in just a couple minutes. Thank you all so much for hanging out today, and hopefully we'll have fun with Cantina. I have Wrigley. I wish you guys could see him. He's sitting over here. And yeah, okay, yes, yeah, okay. I'm getting kisses. So I will talk to y'all later. AJ just popped up. Here's the thing, Lokamai. We live in a society now where young kids brought high school out into the adult world with all the followers and numbers counting and cloud bullshit. Yeah. It's funny how so many things have changed over the years. Okay, and how friendships are put together and what they mean and all that. And yes, Cassie is a little mop top. I'm still trying. She did finally get totally cut. She's still in bad shape though. But I got all the tangles out except for the one right there. Oh, yeah, she doesn't want me touching that one. So, ooh, don't do that to me. Okay, I will see y'all soon. Crazy hair. Yeah, she has a bad hair day every day. Every day. But we're going to get her into the groomer sooner or later once I get all the tangles out. So, yes, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, talk to y'all later. See ya in 40 minutes on the dot right now. So, aloha, and I'll see you. And the dogs know I'm getting ready to go give them treats again. Yeah, actually, I need a new bag of treats. Bye-bye, aloha, and see you in 40.